Oh, my tortoise, he hasn't got a light on. Good day to you all. I hope you're all well. I am. It's quite a nice day out here. It's a Monday morning we're recording this, probably about 6 weeks ago when you're hearing this, because we do like to get them all sorted out. You listen to Brown and Marsh, as I keep saying, the best podcast in the world, presented by blokes called Brown and Marsh. But I'm starting to think I need to come up with a better catchline than that, Chris. What do you reckon? Any ideas?
I think it's a perfect catchphrase.
It says it all, really, doesn't it? The best podcast in the world, presented by...
Yeah,
Brown and Marsh.
Specifically by Brown and Marsh.
Yeah, I thought so. So what have you been up to since we last spoke? And let's pretend we didn't speak about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, no, we speak far too often anyway, don't we?
My girlfriend's convinced there's something going on between us. I don't know about yours.
Yeah.
Every story I tell, Chris said.
Let's move
on. Why don't you move in with Chris?
There's not enough room. April was pretty quiet for me. I don't know about you, but there's all sorts of things going on with Easter holidays and the clocks going forward and schools off and things like that. And perhaps it was budgets as well. People seem to be delaying on making decisions. So so April was a bit quieter. So May seems to be picking up a little bit more in terms of conversations, but it still means just a hell of a lot of networking. And
you hate networking, don't you?
It's what I live for, to be honest, Ross.
Well, it is, yeah. So what's your suitable little catchphrase for getting out there networking, Chris, that you say at least once an episode, so let's get it out of the way.
I've plenty. We'll get it out of the way. It's visibility creates opportunity. I think you have to make yourself...
You ought to get that on a mug, Chris. Oh, you already have. I bought you.
I already have, yeah. And it is here for the visuals.
Yes, there you go. That really helps.
That nobody will see. Visibility creates opportunity. Just getting yourself out there, whether it's making sure that people are receiving you online and in person as well. So it's very important to me. How about you, Ross? What sort of things have you been up to? What's changed with your brew networking?
For the people who live on my side of the Pennines, the brew is a networking group that me and some friends set up at the beginning of the year, because we didn't have any decent networking groups that we could find around Huddersfield, Halifax. So not tiny places, but not Leeds or Manchester. We're fed up having to go to Leeds or Manchester. So it's number 5 on Friday, and we also started our weekly Zoom meeting this morning, which was nicely attended. It'll build up, but we get about 25-30 people, and it's a nice little gang of people. They're all small businesses, either solo people or 3, 4, 5 in the company, and it's turned into a real good community, and everyone's helping each other already. There's a certain groups have sort of paired off, going, I can work with you, I can work with you as well. And it's lovely to see. It just seems to be self-selecting. We've had a couple of pillocks turn up, but they don't come again because
only interesting people,
only nice people. Nice people.
Only nice, interesting people.
Well, Rupert that I run it with is a previous guest on here, and his line I've used a few times, and I've used it on here, I think, that he had a change in focus on his business because he didn't want to work with bastards anymore, which I thought was a wonderful way of just looking at life. Let's stop working with bastards.
If there's ever a strap line for...
creates opportunity, man. Don't work with bastards.
Just don't work with people that you don't want to work with. No, please don't. But in all seriousness, for me, that's what networking's all about. Just trying to help each other out, getting to know someone. There's the old BNI strap line of know, like, and trust. If you know someone, you like them, you trust them, you're probably in a position where you can do some work with them. So
please never quote BNI here again.
No, but you know what I mean.
It's quote Scientology.
Perhaps it's cultish. Perhaps, but it's something that I do like, which is a lovely segue to introduce our guest for this week. We always have interesting people on the Brown and Marsh podcast, and it's someone that I've recently met through a networking group. So, guest, would you like to introduce yourself? What's your name? Where you come from?
Yeah, I'm Shaf, and I come from Doncaster, and I run a company called Kia Marketing, so we're a call centre.
I didn't know she was one of my lot. I thought you were from his side of the Pennines.
Where are you
Yorkshire will
from?
rise again. Up yours, Chris. Hey.
Yeah. I'm,
She's from
I'm,
Donny, so it's South Yorkshire, but it's close enough.
yeah, I'm outnumbered. Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often, does it?
It doesn't. You're a call centre business.
Yeah, so we do cold call and lead generation appointment setting.
Right, wonderful. What type of businesses? Who do you like working with?
Well, there is a variety, to be honest, because it's marketing, so everybody needs marketing, don't they? So there's everything from, carpet cleaning companies to window cleaning companies to business coaches to we work with this company that does rope access, for
Does what access? Sorry, love.
Rope
like
access.
rope access. So do you know if if you're having building works, it's just for big buildings. It's like abseiling.
Oh, right. Oh, so like with the
for
window
the-
cleaners coming down on.
yeah, them. Yeah.
Hey, that's different, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah.
So that's different. And then there's a
Yeah.
company that sells like model trucks for haulage companies and logistics. It's everything. Anyone who needs marketing, really.
It's
Yeah,
interesting
wonderful.
he put his marketing ad and
Yeah.
not sales. I say it was salesy, but I don't know. Do people like to think of it as, is it a softer sell? That's why you say marketing rather than sales.
What cold call? Well, the cold calling is marketing because that's the stage where you're just generating the interest and lead, aren't you? And
Yeah, I
then the
suppose,
sales
yeah.
would be then if you're then
Convert
interested,
it.
we try
Yeah.
to close you on to So ours is just the appointment setting, engaging the interest.
Yeah, I see. So your clients actually do the selling after it.
Yeah.
Once
So we'll get the appointments for you, and then they'll have either them or maybe someone from their team that would close the deal or
Yeah.
go to the site visit or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
How long have you
interesting.
been going?
Since 2020.
So, yeah, so getting in 2020, good year to start a business, that one, wasn't it?
Something
Well, it
happened in
was. So I
2020.
started
didn't
it,
Yeah.
and it went for about 2 months maybe, and then it got shut down because there was no one to call because everybody
I was at home.
work from home wasn't a thing, was it? So that was a bit of a nightmare. And
Yeah,
then what
I was
happened-
told not to use my phone. Switch your phone off.
Why?
That's what I was told.
Why?
I was furloughed, so it was. I think it was some law against responding to emails, responding to people. You're not obliged to reply. So switch your phone off.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was something to do with, because that's how they transmit it, 5G, that's how they get it to you. I thought it was going to be something like that. I was a bit worried where that conversation was going, Chris.
I love a good conspiracy theory, but
Yeah, I thought you
no,
might do.
that wasn't the reason for that. So sorry, Shaf, you were saying how was
No, that's
2023?
all right. Yeah, so that happened, and then lockdown happened, and then there was nobody to ring because no businesses were sort of set up. Now they are, aren't they? Everybody works from home. And then I got a bit worried, and then I lost all my clients apart from one of them, who I think only kept me on, to be honest, to be nice, and got me to do bits and bobs that weren't really cold calling.
But you didn't care. You pay my bills or do anything you want, yes. Clean your house, that's fine, yes.
Pretty much, and then things just sort of straightened out again. Naturally, everybody got set up from home, and so that didn't last long, to be honest. And then it was just as it always has been.
I mean, I think we didn't know much about you, Shaf. I know Chris has met you through a networking group, and this is a wonderful position where you approached us and went, "Can I be in your show, please?" And we went, go on then." So literally, this is us finding out about you.
So you better be interesting, Shaf. That's what he's trying to say.
No pressure, Shaf. No, but I think that sort of the angle that I'm already thinking of is, what was it like trying to start a business in COVID? Because that must have been, all right, I'm going for it. I've got my new business. I am the MD. And what do you mean the entire world's just shut down?
Literally.
I mean, that must have been, what have I just done?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was only freelance to start with, so when I started, it was just me.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of clients, and then I'd just do the cold calling myself. So that went on, and that was going pretty well because as you're cold calling, other people that were answering the phones, senior decision makers liked the approach, and I used to sort of get work that way. And you employed, you freelance, and as it was, it's like, okay, well, let's put some time aside for a conversation. So I used to win a lot of custom that way. And then one of my clients was a business coach, and at that time he sort of, encouraged the idea of, you should train somebody to do what you do. There's a gap in the market. Not many people are good at cold calling, and not many people like cold calling. And so if you could train, a few people as well, then you've got a great business idea. And it was sort of like, no, it's all right. I'm happy as I am. And that went on for a while. And then the minute I was like, okay, let's do it then. And then that happened. So
Bugger.
he was the one that I said stayed and sort of gave me work still to tide me over. And he just sort of, it was quite a lot of support, I think, that kept me going. And it's like, don't give up. These things happen, and it'll, things will straighten out. It's like with, I guess, other events, and we've had, crashes and whatnot, and the credit crunch and all that. And he's like, there's always something, and there will always be something.
Yeah.
So you've just got to take it as it's just another thing that's going to happen, another hurdle, and it'll straighten out in a minute.
It'll
Pretty
work
big
out.
hurdle,
Everything
mate. You've
will be
got
all
through
right.
it, so yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, it just sort of grew, and then I was able to take on staff and that sort of thing, and just sort of slowly grew it. Learned a lot along the way
Good
because
and bad,
I've
I
always
imagine.
been. Yeah, I mean, I've just been good at my job. I've been good at cold calling.
Oh yeah, but I
And
mean, running the business, you'll learn what
yeah.
works, what people. You also learn what set of swines there are out in the world who will do anything to.
You
I'm
definitely
being
do.
polite, yeah, yeah. Who will do anything to make your life a misery?
Well, this is it. And it's like, then you're managing people. And I just thought, well, if I could show somebody how to do what I do, then I've got a business. Oh, no, that's great. Let's
Yeah,
just show a few people. And then as you do that, you then get into a position where now you've got to manage those people because they come with emotions and feelings and, and then.
I'm from Yorkshire. I don't do feelings. What you doing, lad? Just get on that bloody phone and sell some it.
Yeah.
And then they want days off for holidays, and then they have days off sick, and I've never had days off sick.
Oh,
So
people,
then
eh?
you've got to sort of navigate that. But it's all brand new to me. Like I'd never ran a business before, so
What was your background, chef?
Yeah. Where did you
I
come
worked
from?
in call centres.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I've ever done, and I was all right at it. And then I decided to do it freelance because we relocated. So I had children, and then we
I
relocated.
presume
And
you had
since
the children before you relocated. You didn't relocate and go, where have these little buggers come from? Just the way you said it.
They were there.
Relocated, I had children.
They were there.
weren't there when I turned around.
So yeah, that's what happened. And then I was just looking for a job part time, and it's difficult, to get one around the kids.
Yeah.
I think nowadays it's a lot easier because there's so much work from home. I think that's one good thing that's come off of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because as a mom, it was just so hard to find anything that would work around the kids, unless you work in a school. So
Yeah.
Just
to work in a
yeah,
school
so
as
that's
a
good,
teaching
and that's
assistant.
one thing that I've sort of carried forward is I employ other mums and let them have the flexibility of, work around the school hours. And because we're doing cold calling, in effect, we sell time. So our clients will buy a certain number of hours off of us each month. That's how it works. And so the flexibility I can offer other mums is that, if you need to go pick your kid up from school because he's sick, I used to get into trouble for that. I've lost jobs over that in the past. Just take it off and, so and so's got X amount of hours. As long as they're done within the month, we're good. And so, they'll work an extra hour a day for the next
exactly.
couple of days. And
And the
works
thing
really
is that
well.
you can't, that loyalty, you can't buy, can you? It has to be
No, and I
decency.
think just giving them that. I mean, that was my biggest struggle, and I knew I was good at my job, but the talent was meaningless unless I was in the office, right? And so I thought, how can I use that? Because surely other mums are in the same position where they might be talented actually, and they just haven't got the opportunity, and you're expected in 9 to 5, and nobody really cares if you need to pick your kid up from school, and then you've got that sickness, and then the other kid, and then you've got your own sicknesses, and how does that work? And so I thought that's something that I could offer as a bit of a incentive, I guess, as to why you should work with us.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
get
wonderful.
employers who still have that attitude. I mean, unfortunately, is it because your bosses were blokes and men don't traditionally have the responsibility of looking after the kids? It's the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, isn't it? So blokes don't always get it. Or
Maybe they don't have that feeling or they didn't understand it. Although saying that when I very first started, I also had that attitude, like you're here to earn money and you're here to work. And so I wasn't really, I didn't have the attitude of, okay, well, let's have this flexibility and what can I offer you? It's kind of like you're here 9 to 5, if you're taking days off, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I worked with another business coach that was, as I said, I've never run a business, so I was just getting guidance. And one thing that he highlighted is, well, what can you offer then? And then that's where it sort of made me think, okay, well, where was my struggles? And then so that's when I come up with, okay, well, what if we did this for other mums then? And honestly, the girls are so great that work with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just the
Yeah.
best. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Sometimes it isn't always money, is it?
No, and the incentive isn't always money. And I know that from being the mum that couldn't get a job, around the school hours, that actually I'd rather take less of a salary and have that flexibility. So it's a dream. It's a
Yeah.
dream. So if I can offer that to them, and like I said, they appreciate it and they're so grateful. And if they win, I win, and it's nice little team that we've got.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I mean, obviously you've got your target demographic in the playground, and I'm sure there's a great audience there for you. So, but it kind of reminds me of a previous guest we had on Brown and Marsh podcast called Una Cottrell. It was all about sort of the attitude of women in work and understanding what they want to do and how to get there, and quite specifically the sort of ages of who Una is sort of working with. So that's honestly it's really commendable that you've got that attitude to.
Do you feel guilty, Chris? Because I always do. I did when I was speaking to Una, and and now I'm, because I got a name wrong, didn't I? I always Una, isn't it? I always do it the wrong way around. If you're listening to this, I'm really sorry.
It's Una.
Mrs. Cottrell.
Una. Yeah. Una should meet Shafia. I'm sure they'd get on smashing. Perhaps we should make an introduction.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We've turned into a networking group, haven't we? Because we've done this with a couple of people. But it's quite, I always feel guilty of, I'm in my 50s, a white, straight bloke, and we're interviewing women, whether they're of colour or not, who get a shit deal sometimes. And it's blokes like me normally giving them that shit deal. So I almost feel guilty by association. Does that make sense to you, Chris?
Yeah, I agree to an extent, but I think we've all been through shit with working lives, things that have gone wrong, things that perhaps we would have changed. You could argue that you might sort of not be the person you are today if you hadn't gone through those, and you're always learning, aren't you? So, what about yourself, Shaf? What sort of things, if 21-year-old Shaf came along now, what would you tell her? What sort of, it might be advice, it might be everything's going to be okay, just crack on and do what you're doing, or would you change anything?
It's hard because there's loads of things that you could say you would change, but then, like you've just said, if you did change it, would you be how it is now? So maybe not. Maybe you need those lessons, even the bad ones. Maybe you need to go through those. So I wouldn't feel guilty about anything necessarily. I would just think, well, that's just life, isn't it? And you deal with the cards that you've got, and you learn from it. And I think as long as you are learning from it, because some people don't, they'll keep making the same mistakes or keep the same attitude. But as long as you're open to, what can I keep doing better, or how can I improve that? I think that's all you need, really.
Yeah.
Every day is a school day.
Yeah. So I suppose that's the deeper point, isn't it? Just trying to change people's opinions to think, how could I be better? How could I do
Be
this?
better, I think.
Better?
Yeah. That's it. I think just be better rather than thinking, oh, I wish I could have, would have, should have done this.
Yeah. Because
you can't change it, then you just dwell in. So maybe just what can you do differently now?
Yeah. When you're young, when you're 20 or in your early 20s, you just speaking from my own experience now, I was a young salesman in a team of 40, 50-year-olds. So I was kind of was sort of given the easy ride because I was a young guy, I was a young pup, I was learning, I was wasn't supposed to be as good as all these other shiny salespeople. But it's only sort of 10, 20 years later, I think, I wish I'd tried a bit harder because I would see the results now. But same point goes, I perhaps wouldn't be in a position now. But I often say I started networking when I was 28. I wish I'd started when I was 20, only because I really see the benefits now of everything that I've cultivated over the last
nearly 20 years, Chris.
Not quite 20 years.
Not quite 20 years.
So do you spend much time networking, Shaf? How do you go about getting your clients? You've mentioned a few.
So a lot of ours is just organic growth because I'm quite fortunate in the sense of not many people like cold calling anyway. So it's not really a difficult service to sell. The market's not very saturated. And so the minute you're doing a good job for one person, they'll pass you on anyway. So one of the team, Jade, she started networking recently because she wants to sort of develop and grow, and that might be nice for her. But in terms of networking, like I've not really done much of it. Like I said, I think I'm really fortunate just because of the role that I fell into, which is
Yeah.
cold
Yeah,
calling.
yeah. You're spending place with your time, like you say, with children and school run, and obviously work as well. It's time is always the biggest challenge, isn't it, for a lot of people? So it's how you manage that, and if you're not able to, or it doesn't appeal to you, then yeah, why should you? What about you, Ross? How much time do you spend networking?
Too much sometimes. Not that, well, I don't know, because I'm busy organising a networking event that was every month. It's now every week.
Yeah.
There's not. It's weird. I mean, I don't know if Donny's the same, but it kind of, I'm just outside Huddersfield, sort of going towards Manchester. It's on one of the villages on the outskirts. There's bugger all around here, networking wise. I mean, if you're close to Donny, there's probably, I presume, there's things happening in the town centre. But
So I don't actually live in Donny
oh
anymore.
right, go
So well, we've got a house in Lincolnshire, but we travel now, so I haven't really got. I'm homeless technically.
on. Oh mate, oh.
Wherever you lay your
I've got a
hat.
spare sofa behind me here if you're desperate.
I'm back in the UK now for 6 weeks, and then we're off again.
Oh wow.
Go on, this is though. See, I love it when people hide the interesting stuff. So
Living in Doncaster must be interesting.
no, it's not. Have you been to Doncaster,
No,
Chris?
I don't think I've
No,
been.
yeah.
You're not
There's a
missing
reason
much.
why she doesn't live there anymore. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't live in Bradford anymore. Hello to my fellow Bradfordians.
Oh well,
Yeah.
see, I think Donny's a little bit more of an upgrade than Bradford.
Mate, are you sure? Anyway,
Go on.
we'll argue about this one later.
Yeah.
So house in Lincolnshire, but what, you're in a camper van? What, were you travelling? You saying you're in the UK for 6 weeks and disappearing again?
Yeah, so we went out traveling. I think it was like June, July, summer of 2024.
Yeah.
We went out and we just booked a one-way ticket, and it was only supposed to be a 3-month travel, with the
To
kids.
where? You said
So
one-way
we went
ticket.
to Sri Lanka. We'd done some of Southeast Asia, so Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines,
Wow.
some of that side of the world. And it was supposed to be 3 months, and then it got to sort of middle. So we'd agreed with the school actually that we could have a couple of weeks before the summer holidays and a couple of weeks after, which gave us a nice length of time. And then it got to sort of middle of August, and it's like, right, well, we've got to look at booking the tickets back now, or we have to then email the school and say that we're not coming back. So we were just in holiday mode, and we were just like, nah, sack it. So we just rang the school and said we're not coming back. And
I'm
that
sorry,
was-
we don't know them. They're not here anymore. Go away.
Wow. Yeah,
And
fantastic.
so we just didn't come back, and that was it. So we've been traveling ever since then. We've just come to visit family and things like that. So I came home last Saturday, I think it were actually.
Yeah, wow.
And where are you going to next?
So back to
You're back for
Thailand.
6 weeks.
I
All
absolutely
right.
love it there. Yeah, Thailand, and then from there, I don't know. It's just there's no plan really. I used to be so rigid and structured, and I like to know, what was happening for the next 5 years. And
Yeah.
now it's just like, I don't know where I'll sleep tonight. When it gets dark and we get tired, we'll find somewhere to sleep.
Oh.
And that's how it's been.
What did your other half do?
So we both work in the business. He used to
Oh,
be
right.
a mechanical engineer, so he worked on JCBs, and he was a heavy plant
All right.
fixer of heavy plant hire. And so yeah,
So he's got those skills.
He's got those
If
skills
he's
we
got
need.
if he's got nothing to do in the business, it's like I've got a wrench. Show me
Yeah.
something to fix. Yeah.
Well, that saves us a few quid when things break
Oh,
down
God, I
and
can
cars and
imagine,
bikes. But yeah, no, he works on the business now, and we work together. And he's automating a lot of he's does programming as well, so he's automating a lot of our systems, which then saves me time, which then so yeah,
And
it's
it's
been nice
presumably
because
something you could sell on to other people if he
it could
package
be
it up.
something. I mean, honestly, he's not really interested in. But I said that because obviously I'm in sales, a cold calling. So I'm like, you build stuff, I'll sell it. And he said, no, I'll just build stuff for us, and it'll make things easier for you. And he's just,
Mate, I'm with you. No, it's like, even if it's the kind of people who couldn't afford you, even though I'm sure your fees are very, very respectable, but they might be able to afford 10 quid a month to lease your software that makes their life a bit easier, or 50 quid a month, whatever. Yeah, I think you've got something there.
I mean, we started doing a training academy. So about a year or so ago, we started training cold calling as a service. And so if you, like you said, if you can't afford then, or you don't have the budget for outsourcing it to us, we then teach you how to do your own, which I think is a good skill to have for, especially, small business owners, because if you're ever in a situation or in financial difficulty with a business, it's good to know how to do that.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should learn how to do it. And then, if you want to outsource it or pass it on to somebody. So we've done that. And then he's built us a platform where the next stage is then to do the video, so that then there's like a cheaper package where you can, rather than having the live sessions with us and things like that, where you can then just do the videos, do the tests, and a bit of a course, I guess. So we're in the process of making that, but it's kind of, no rush. I learned a big lesson going traveling, that there was more to me, because I was very money motivated and very much chasing money, and nothing else mattered apart from just building this successful business. And as I was out, you realize there is just more to life, and spending time, so now I trade in a different currency. I exchange time instead of thinking how much is something going to cost financially. It's how much is it going to cost me in time, and is it worth it? So there's been clients or potential clients that have rang up and said, can we do this? And but the meeting has to be at 2-3 o'clock, and obviously I select my window between, so when I'm in Thailand or on the other side of the globe, it's more, I will start working maybe 3 or 4 p.m. and I'll do a couple of hours. So 6, 7 p.m. I like to then shut off, and then, give the kids tea and eat together and go to bed. And so some people have said, I can only do 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something. And for me, then it's like, then it's not going to work for me. And so I'm very tight now. I'm from Yorkshire, so I used to be tight with my money, didn't I? Now I'm just so tight with my time that if something's going to cost me an hour, I've got to calculate. I could be with the kids for that hour. Is it worth the extra? If it's that? So that's
How old are the kids now?
So one's going to be 16 in August, and the other one is 9.
Oh, lovely.
Nice
So they're both learning valuable life lessons.
Yeah.
Yes, keeping up with their education, all the good stuff, but also the stuff you can't buy at school.
Yeah, life
and you
experiences.
can't learn at school.
No, there's some things you can't learn at school, and I think just seeing that and experiencing those things, you learn a lot. You see how the cultures are in other people, but the biggest lesson that I learned, that I want them to learn, and hopefully that they'll take from it, is that there's just more to working. That it's not just about working for money to live. And that's how you get sort of stuck in that cycle.
It's what is it? Live to work or work to live? You do. Do you do just enough that you can pay your bills for the holiday once a year? Go out for a pint, or all those kind of things, or is every single waking hour?
That's it. And when we when I used to have the office here, when I was working, sometimes I'd be leaving at 6 a.m, they'd be asleep, and then I'd be coming home at 8 at night, and Dad's already given them tea and putting them to bed, and I wasn't seeing them.
Yeah.
And it's how much is that? How much is money worth?
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest lesson that I learned.
That resonates with me very, 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 very much, because that's the exact reason why I decided to go self-employed. I realised that I was coming home from a working day, and being told what time I should be leaving work, to find that children had already been bathed and I was going out early the next day, and primary school goes like that, high school go like that.
And the thing is, you're doing it all for the kids, aren't you? You work so hard, and you put in all them hours because I want to give them a better life. And some of the people that we've come across, that live in these remote villages, and honestly, they're just the richest people that I've come across.
They've got
in
nothing,
reality,
as far as we're
financially, the poorest people that you'll meet. And you look at them, and I think they must be in a position where, I don't know whether they see it that way, or do they dream of going to the city, or honestly, they live up in the mountains, and it's like, we work all our life to hopefully afford a holiday like that. You said once a year, sometimes once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's their life, and it's honestly, I've met some of the richest people in the world, and they've got everything. Maybe they don't know it.
Yeah, well,
you always want what you haven't got, don't you?
You do always want what you haven't got. This is true.
Yeah,
but you're managing to get the best of both worlds, I think.
At the minute, I'm really, I would say, lucky, fortunate. I think I'm grateful for the way it's mapped out and the way we're able to do this, so that we have, all day just with each other and with the family, and you know, seeing the world, and then a few hours work on an evening.
Yeah, wonderful. No, we're no, it's fascinating. I mean,
We are jealous, Chris. You were going to say that.
we're jealous.
weren't
I was
you?
going to
We
say
are incredibly jealous. Yes.
envious. I prefer
No,
the
no,
word
we're
envious.
jealous, Chris.
We're envious.
No, Chris. No, Chris.
Did you...
Okay, I'm jealous.
You're jealous, I'm envious.
I'm happy for you, Shaf. You seem really content.
Yeah, of
and
course,
I've only just
of
met
course.
you, but I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
But jealous as hell.
Yeah. Did you think this was what life was going to look like when you mentioned working in call centres before you went self-employed? Did you think it was about seeing the world, or did you think I'll have a house and
Oh my God, absolutely not. No, I mean, I just worked in call centers, and the dream was, hopefully we'll get a nice house together, and it'd be nice if we could have a car each rather than having to share a car, and if we've got a garden, because initially, when I first moved in with my husband, who we weren't married at the time, was, we lived in a flat. And so, the dream is get a nice house, where the kids can play, and they both got a bedroom each that, they don't have to share. And that was the dream, really.
Yeah.
And then you get there, and it's sort of, there's got to be
All
more
right.
to life,
Yeah.
and could it be a few more nice holidays a year? And then it's like, yeah, that there's just got to be more to life than this.
Good for you. Good for
Mate,
you. And without
yeah,
sounding cheesy, the world's your garden now, isn't it? You talk about having a garden. It's the world now, isn't it? I know that sounds a bit cheesy.
Yeah.
No,
it's
it does,
incredible.
but you're right.
It's
The-
amazing,
you know.
isn't it?
That's what you were going for. We want that extra car or an extra bedroom, but it's the garden. That was the interesting part for me, that we want a garden. Because
Yeah, I never saw it
what
that
does that
way.
signify?
Yeah,
It's
got the
been
biggest garden in
outside.
the world
Yeah,
now.
it's been
It's
outside.
turned into a
It's
therapy
exploring.
session, hasn't it?
They often do our podcast,
They
don't they?
do. The weird. I don't know whether Chris and I have just got those kind of calming voices where tell us all your secrets, But yeah, they do seem to turn to therapy sessions. Usually for me, to be honest with you, I seem to open my soul.
I love that, but it just makes you think, doesn't it? I think we're not broad-minded. It's about being open, and about that's what I love about the Marsh and Brown podcast, is that we hear from different people's experiences and different perspectives and different opinions, and it's wonderful, and it's brilliant to have people like yourself, Shaf, that's willing to tell your story and where you've come from, what you're doing now. So I suppose the natural question is, what does the future look like? You've got one that's 16, so he's going to be going through all sorts of different sort of life changes and experiences, and making decisions for himself in the next few years. So go on, what the next sort of 4 or 5 years? How would you sort of describe it at this stage? And then we'll come back to you in 4 or 5 years and ask you how you've got on.
Yeah, no, that would be great. And I mean, yeah, so those conversations with him are challenging at the minute, because now it is a case of what's he going to do with his life? Where does he want to be? What does he want to do for work? And just, where does he want to live and all that sort of stuff. So that's challenging. And also the teenager side of things, I guess other parents have been through as well. He's all there, and the downside of traveling, I would say, which is worth the sacrifice, I wouldn't be doing it, is that you just don't really have a social life, because we're moving, and often in places where they just don't even speak a word of English, and so you don't get to meet friends. He doesn't get to meet new people, or even the ones he does, you're never in one place long enough to build any connection or relationships.
Okay.
So that probably is a big thing, or a challenging thing at that age. Whereas, Cody, who's 9, he's 9, so he's loving life. We go scuba diving in the morning, or we go down the beach, and he's just absolutely loving life. He's having the best time.
Whereas a 16-year-old is like, I want to go out on dates and drink cider in the park, and all the things that you did, Mum. He wants a typical 16-year-old's life, doesn't
It's
he?
coming back to Doncaster.
Yeah, this is it. Well, I'm not sure where at the minute. There's sort of talks with my mom, does he want to stay here for a little bit, for a few months, and have a little bit of normality, I guess, if you want to call it, and then come back out. And so, yeah, I'm not really sure where that's going to go. Future holds, I'm not really sure because, like I said, I used to be very rigid and very planned, and I needed to know what every minute of every day looked like. Otherwise, it would just stress me out. I'd go mental, not knowing what's happening. And now it's just like I'm not sure. I booked a one-way ticket again, and from there, I just don't know where we're going to end up. And I love it because it's just an adventure, and you just don't know what you're going to come across or things that you're going to see. But I do love being in nature. I prefer that much more than the cities and the more remote places that we've been. It excites me, and I just love being around the animals. And then yeah, I love animals. I think more than people now. They just don't give you any havoc.
You haven't met my cat.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
about what about?
the more I'm in the nature and that
Yeah,
kind of environment,
yeah,
the more I sort of don't like the thought of coming back to the UK or coming
yeah,
home. I mean, obviously, I
yeah,
love seeing family and things like that,
yeah.
but I just love, I love waking up and there's monkeys on the balcony and uh, that sort of thing.
That's not in Doncaster, is it?
I would make a joke about that being
No.
Doncaster now.
Yeah, that's not Doncaster. No, I did think it was.
What about Kia marketing though? What does Kia marketing look like? Would you say over the next 5 years? So
So
you talk
Kia
about
marketing. So I got it to a stage with the help of the team. Obviously, I wouldn't even have it if it weren't for them. To a point where they're happy, I'm happy, and it's kind of it's enough to live off. This for the life that I want, it's enough. And speaking to the team, they have ideas that they want to grow it. And so I had a conversation with one of them a couple of months back, and she was just like, are you thinking to recruit? Do you think we'd do that? Do you think you'd grow the team? And I just said, not really. I'm kind of happy where it is. And she looked a little bit disappointed. And I was just I don't want to grow it, but if you want to, like, by all means, feel free and that excited her. And so, she's a mum as well, and it's the flexibility. She's like, wow, could I really do this? How would that work around the kids? And so I said, you go and figure it out. You tell me what that would look like. When would you do your meetings? When would you do, the workload? When would you do this? And you come up with a plan. And then, if there's more money, of course, I'll take some, you take some. And so, yeah, she hired two people, and she wants to grow that side. And my job's sales and marketing. Like I said, we don't necessarily struggle for custom, which is again because of the industry. And so yeah, we always had a waiting list of clients and we was always fully booked out. And so I said, all right, deal is then I'll make sure that we've got the custom in and the workload, and the hours, and you make sure you train them. And if I have to be involved, then I don't want to do it. But if you can do it, obviously I'll guide you, if you need any help, but I don't want to have to be covering or
Yeah.
dealing with that side of things. If you want to grow, and so
You'll provide the
we
infrastructure and the structure of the business. But if they want to grow that bit, I'll make sure I see
yeah, and
you
like
all right.
she's never been in that position of seniority, and so she'll need guidance on how to manage that and how to, just the same things I learned, which I'm happy to pass on to her. But that's my entire involvement. I don't want any more. Like I said, I'm really tight with my time now, so if it's going to cost me any more than a couple of hours extra, it's too expensive.
Yeah, good for you. So
It's funny.
you've sorry, Ross.
Sorry, no, after you, Chris.
Okay, I was just going to pick up on that. So you've mastered the art of saying no.
Yeah, which at the beginning is difficult because I remember when I very first started the business, clients would, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? They'd be messaging at 11 o'clock at night, and I'd respond to it. And now it's just like, I'm asleep. We'll discuss. I'm not on call 24 hours a day. And so after 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK, like, you won't get hold of me till the next day. But if you need, the team's here and they can help with anything. So yeah, it's just been disciplined, and you've got to learn as well that it's okay that some people, that's not going to work for some people. Some people need that flexibility with you, as a supplier.
Yeah.
And then I'm just not for you. I'm not for everybody.
Yeah. So you're trying to set the expectation there, aren't you? Because putting myself into that position, I've clients as well that they'll get in touch, but again, I'll just try and set the expectation. I'm networking, I'm doing a campaign, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'll reply to you at this point, hopefully with a report on my activity and what I'm doing for you, and to show you a return on your investment with me. So, but as I say, it's sort of setting that expectation, isn't it? So if you're in a position where you can say no, you're effectively setting the expectation, but you can justify it by saying no because this is my
Because
time
of
and this
this.
is
And
this
then
is
and
all,
then
yeah.
you can decide, if you want me as a supplier, because as I was growing the
Right.
business, we had suppliers and I needed that. I needed to be able to ring you at 10 o'clock at night because my day was so busy and it was, sometimes I was working 18-hour days. I didn't have the time to breathe to go and ring one of the suppliers for something. So if I'm messaging at 10 o'clock at night, I need you to respond. So I get that some people do need that. And then so you just have to choose, it might not be that, we don't like each other. It might just be I can't supply the service you want.
Yeah.
I can do it here
What
and
I
here
find
and I
it
can
funny
do
is
it.
this is 2 interviews in a row. People who have decided not to be in the UK. Our previous interviews, an old colleague of mine, Caroline, who about 20 years ago went, sod this, I've had enough, and just literally packed her laptop up and went to Thailand.
When
Yeah, she did the same. She was talking about Sri Lanka and Thailand.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and she came from a PR and marketing background, but she enjoyed coaching, so she's now a business coach. She calls herself a conscious business coach. She works with cuddly businesses actually doing some good, not just any old bugger. It's somebody who's actually making an effort to improve the world. And she left 15, 20 years ago, something like that, and did around Thailand and Mexico. Along the way, met the guy who was a de facto husband. I think they've been together about 15 years, and they've got 2 kids, bit younger than yours, but they've now settled outside Valencia. She's half Spanish, he is Spanish, but she's now talking about moving back to the UK. And me and Chris spent 10 minutes going, no,
Why?
don't do that. You've got a beach outside and you're in Spain.
You got blue skies.
But it's
Blue
interesting
skies.
because you haven't even mentioned it. It wasn't until you said something about being back in the UK. And both Chris and I went, what do you mean back in the UK?
For 6 weeks.
So, but to me, that's your story. That's and I love the fact that it's 2 people in a row. It just it goes
really
to show
interesting.
people there's alternatives to 9 to 5 or 8 till 6 or whatever. You can actually plough your own furrow.
Now everybody can work remotely, can't they?
Yeah.
Jobs are hands-on, obviously they are,
Yeah.
of course, But if you can work from home, why not?
But if you can
And
work from a
the
different
more you're
country,
out of
why
it, the
not?
more you look back and you think, why are people still living like this?
Yeah.
We come back and it's like, my mum's going to work and it's like, oh, would you want to go? Well, I've got to take it. And I forget these things, like she'll say, well, let me know what days you're coming down and I'll take the day off. And it's like, oh, wow, you got to ask somebody if you can take a day off.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
for our team, that's why I say I try to give them as much flexibility. So long as this work is done, the client's service, you do. If you want an extra day off, go take it. You shouldn't have to ask because your kid's sick. Can I go and pick him up from school? Like, go and pick him up. That's
Why haven't
more
you gone
important. That's
yet?
why you work.
Yeah, love that.
And
Yeah.
that when you look from the outside now, and like I said, we've been out for a couple of years now, and you just wonder, like, why is more people not doing it? Like, how come people are still here? And you see them working from home, and it's like, why are you here?
Yeah.
I'm wondering the same at the moment, to be honest with you. My girlfriend does work from home a couple of days a week, but she's also based at a hospital as well. So unless they're going to move the Northern General in Sheffield onto roller skates,
Perhaps not. Yeah.
Perhaps not.
There's a confidence element, though, isn't there? It's just making sure that that you can actually fulfill the responsibilities that you've got. Going back to the expectation thing as well, that my client expects me to do this and I will be able to fulfill it. If you can do that, if you've got decent Wi-Fi, if technology serves, things will go wrong, and life does get in the way. But I think there's an element of confidence with people, and a sense that people want to have, sort of come back to that home life, and
absolutely.
Feel
I think it's I agree, and a lot of it is just the courage to be able to do it as well. I mean, the thought of selling the house at home, it would feel like, oh, that's too big of a move. That means we're moving.
Yeah.
So right now, it's like, when people, like you said, where do you live? It's like, oh, I live in Lincolnshire. Because then there's a bit of a safety net. I feel like it's still home.
That's what you
I'm
can
not
come back to. Yeah.
something I can come back to. Yeah. But if you can work remotely, it makes you see life in a different light, I think, as to like why are you doing the things you do? And the answer you'll find is still the same. It's like, well, it's for the kids. It's to have a nice life.
Yeah.
I do it for them, and I do it to
You do it for
spend time
all
with
of
the
you, don't you?
family.
You know,
Inspire them,
the
yeah.
kids, you and your husband, it works for all of you. Like you said, the 16-year-old's at a tipping point that maybe it's going to stop working for him, but, you know, you're all getting a higher quality of life than if you were working 18 hours a day from your nice house in
Yeah, I mean,
Lincolnshire.
sometimes my husband, he'd go to, like I said, he'd work on JCB. So sometimes it'd be a case of, right, he's in the Isle of Man. And
Mm.
so, his boss would say, well, we can either put you up in a hotel or, you get paid for the drive home. And so, he'd turn up at like 3 in the morning, just because we're saving. And it's like, you're putting yourself through all of that. I know I had to because,
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
needed a house and all the rest of it, like everybody else. Um, but
Quality
then you're
of
doing
life.
it for that nice, but we're not seeing each other. So what are we really doing it for?
Yeah.
But look, you
Quality
have a
of
better car. Yes, but I haven't seen you for 3 weeks, love.
life. Yeah.
You know.
And that's it. And it got to a point where it was like, we really had to save hard and we worked a lot of hours
Mm.
to be able to, move in together and all that sort of stuff. And you get to the point, it's like, well, what's next then? Do we upgrade house or do we do this or what do we buy next? And then I've come to the realization, well, he got sick a few years back and that kind of
Yeah.
was the tipping point for me
Okay.
because it was always a case of, well, what's next, and what do we buy next? And nothing really is fulfilling because there's always a bigger house, isn't there? There's always a better car, and he got sick, and then it was just during the COVID time, and we just didn't know which way it was going to go. And there was some days where he'd go to sleep, and I don't know if I'm going to wake up in the morning.
Wow.
And then when you're in that position, it's like, so why am I working 18 hours a day to say that it's for us?
Yeah.
When there's more important things going on.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes something like that to push you to do
Yeah.
something, unfortunately, but it's a big motivating factor to realize that, well, what if something happened, or what if you didn't have long left?
Yeah.
Then what would we be doing? So just you got to live as though that was the case.
And on
There
that
it is.
happy note,
Yeah, no, you've inspired me, and I'm sure all of our listeners will take inspiration from it. But everything that you said, you're absolutely correct. It's you don't know what's around the corner. There's all these different life chapters, and full credit to you, obviously.
We've all experienced that, haven't we? We know
Yeah.
these things, we hear these things, and it's only until you're in it that you actually it really hits you, because you hear stories and it's like, oh, I didn't think that would happen to me.
Yeah, and it's almost a shame that sometimes it takes a life changing event to make you sit back and realise. It's almost like, why didn't they teach us this at school? Why wasn't this an option when I was doing my GCSEs, that actually you could go and do this abroad and get some life experience and work remotely? But you're sort of inspired and influenced by people who haven't done those things. Aren't you? So no, it's been really interesting hearing your story, Shaf, and I'm really pleased that you've joined us today.
It's been a brilliant conversation, Shaf. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's not been what we expected, I'll be honest with you.
You said I better make it interesting, so I have
Shaf from Doncaster, but actually,
sorry, you haven't made all that shit up, have you? You haven't
She might have done.
I'll give him an interesting story. Yeah, right.
She might have done. But,
I'm not in Donny, I'm in Wakefield.
Yeah.
Yes.
But obviously, you've got a real interesting business, and like Ross says, it's kind of curious why you refer to the marketing side rather than not the sales. And I'll often talk about business development, and so it's all, I suppose, the sort of interpretations. But effectively, you're helping businesses. You're helping the growth of businesses there, aren't you? And in a way that you've got your expertise and full credit to you. So I mean, if there are some of our listeners and people that will be sending the podcast to, if they feel the need to get in touch with you, what would be the best way, Shaf?
WhatsApp. I live on WhatsApp, so if anybody wants to send me WhatsApp, I can give you my number, Chris and Ross, and that'd be really kind of you. But after listening to that, they're probably you can't get older after 1 o'clock.
You can't.
Well, is your I'm just thinking, because people, even if we read the number out, they'll forget it. But if they go to your website, are all the details on there?
What details are on there? Yeah.
So is it Kia.marketing?
Yeah, just Kia.marketing. Yeah.
I'm just thinking that people remember rather than 0797 whatever.
Yeah. And what's
This is
what's
true.
what time is it in Thailand right now? And
exactly. Yeah.
So wonderful.
Which country is she in at the moment? Oh, what's the time difference? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Chef doesn't even know sometimes, but
I don't know. I'm never sure what my time difference is. All right, we'll wrap this up. So, look, if you have enjoyed what you've heard over the last hour or so, obviously give Shaf a shout at kia.marketing. If you've liked what you've heard from me, if you go to northernpods.com and I can help you create a wonderful podcast to get your message out there, amplify what's important. And Christopher, how should people get hold of you?
Similar for me, if you're looking for business development services, so in a similar tone to what Shaf's doing, my website's agentsof.co.uk.
And if you want to make sure you never miss an episode, right, let's see how many of these I can remember. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, Pandora, maybe iHeartRadio. Can't remember whether I got that one or not. YouTube or brownandmarsh.co.uk.
Pretty much everywhere.
We're on the TikTok as well. Not pretend to understand that. That's Chris's department. But yeah, Instagram fit. But you'll find us everywhere. Just search Brown and Marsh or Half-Wits. Half-Wits doing a podcast. We'll probably show up. So, Shaf, brilliant. Thank you very much once again, love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on, honestly. It's been
I'm glad we caught you in the country.
Yeah.
I'm glad we caught you. I'm glad we caught you in the country.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered if she was in Thailand.
Yeah, but it upset me more if she sat there with the sunshine splashing down and monkeys going behind her. Oh, I'm sorry, my pet monkeys got into the video. So until next, I have no idea where it comes from either. Until we meet again, thank you very much, everybody. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Brown and Marsh is a Northern Pods production. Find out more at northernpods.com.